So next I would like to invite our next and final guest speaker of today, Tomi Salmenpää from Traficom. Tomi Salmenpää is the Chief Advisor in Aviation Cybersecurity in Traficom and has had his 7-year tenure and been working with approval, certification and oversight of airlines continuing airworthiness. So thank you, Tomi.
Thank you for the introduction, and I'm very, very happy to be here discussing about aviation cybersecurity. But before that, I would like to also complement a couple of words about my background. So I have been working in the airline business before, and after that I joined the dark side, the Civil Aviation Authority, so like we say in the industry, and I have been there like 7 years. Which 4 or 5 years now, full-time aviation cybersecurity. Because of my background from the technical side, I understand the operational life limitations, real-life challenges from the airline business and from the operations. So that helps me when I'm now working in the international working groups with my colleagues from very different aviation areas like air navigation services, airlines, aircraft manufacturers, information security specialists, and many other very expert level people. This is a quite short period of time to explain aviation cybersecurity. But I pinpointed a couple of items that I would like to explain to you. And also, please disrupt me if you have any questions during our journey. So I hope that we will have a good discussion or after the presentation, because I cannot go very in-depth into details. So if you have something in your mind, I warmly welcome your ideas to the discussion. So first I would like to explain what is actually aviation ecosystem, give you a very short, let's say, picture of the whole system, and then also what is actually cybersecurity, because that is also quite difficult to understand sometimes. People have different understanding that, and as I have seen even in Finland, we have a kind of a state level understanding what is cybersecurity, but then when we go somewhere international, it means different thing. So that is also good to keep in mind. The most important is that we understand, we have a common understanding when we are speaking about cybersecurity, what does that mean? And then also, what are the challenges, practices and solutions to manage these challenges? So the aviation ecosystem, it's very huge. It's just, this picture explains to you that there are different players. It's not only that the aircraft is flying from point A to point B, it's about communication with very different organizations, and when aircraft is flying from Finland to Europe somewhere, it fly through many different countries under very different air navigation service providers, and many different systems are influencing the flight path. So we have, for example, hangar where the aircraft is maintained. All the for example, software updates are made physically to the aircraft there, and then we have the airport on the top right. When the aircraft land, then quite many systems are updated through different systems like a gate link or by other means. And then we have operations and dispatch center by the airline for normally, so that through the light through the flight, the crew communicates and the aircraft communicates with other systems to get information so that all the operations goes through smoothly. And then we have satellite communication systems. Nowadays they are very, very advanced, so that the amount of data is improved hugely since the past few years, so that we are able to use those connections by several means nowadays. So it's a huge ecosystem, not only in one country, but for example, 200 countries worldwide. So this is just to give you a quick overview that we are speaking about very big one system of systems. The trend is so that the innovations, when we get more and more innovations in the technology and digitalization, that creates very new and great opportunities to us all. And then normally the business goes after those innovations when the right time is. And then the cybersecurity unfortunately follows a little bit after those kind of new solutions are taking in the business. It doesn't mean that the organizations are not doing, for example, risk management, but this is the nature how we see the development goes. And as it should be, regulation is not the answer to tackle this challenge. It's sometimes a must, but that should follow after the, for example, in our language, industry standards. Like industry standards from us means that is the way how we recommend the industry to take care of these risks, and the regulation then normally follows after these. But as we have seen in the past, and I think that's quite a general opinion, that we are missing some of the very important regulations as well in the cybersecurity, not only in aviation, but also in other industry. For example, if you think about the IoT technology nowadays, we definitely need something more in the information security. So as I said, cybersecurity, what does that actually mean? Is that in the Finnish context, it's understood that it's something bigger. It's that there is actually vocabulary in Finland that you can find that it's that you can trust to the cyber environment. And normally when something unexpected happen, that's because of the information security that fails. But in the international context, it's actually vice versa. Information security is kind of the biggest entity, and because of the cyber attack, something happens. And information security means that there is something wrong in the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. So this is the very famous CIA. How many of you have heard this term before? So this is actually that you can find many places, and it's not a new issue. So at this point, I actually start using information security, not cyber security. And for example, in the previous presentation, we saw very interesting applications for the customer service. And that's a good example. That think about if that information, if someone is messing with the integrity of that information so that you cannot trust that information, that may create challenges in the security of passengers, that may create challenges in the safety mind as well, or if that information is not available at all. Perhaps the same result, perhaps not. But this is kind of a new dimension I would like to encourage you to think also in the normal life, that it's not only that cybersecurity. I feel that when I'm talking to my wife, for example, that sometimes I test her so that what does that actually mean, and I would like to encourage her to think also that actually when our internet at home is not working, it's because of some of these three parameters probably. And what we are doing actually, and see at national level in Finland, in the governance agencies, I see that also in the organizational level because I'm working with our airlines, ANSPs, which are the air navigation service providers, airport, and that I see also at international level in Europe, in the European Commission, at global level in ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization, that this is very difficult and challenging to think. They all have a very strong safety organization and governance, security as well, but the information security is still somewhere in the IT world, whereas it should be transferred more near the operational world. And I see that we are now moving towards that position, and that creates challenges in Finland, in the governance, I can say that, and also in the organizations and everywhere. But I see that the information security belongs to all, actually. It's not only because of the safety, security, national security, it's everyone's business. So that's my keynote here. So what are the challenges? Well, the aviation industry has evolved from 1940s, 50s to this day, and still we have some technical solutions from there, and everything in between, new technologies as well. That means that some of the technology is not secure by design, and so we have to jump to the moving train, so to say, and integrate and implement security top of that. But at the same time, we are developing new, let's say, aviation ecosystem, new digital aviation ecosystem. And I'm honored to be one member in that working group at ICAO who is doing that. And that actually started last week. So we are creating new strategical level how to tackle this challenge more consistent way. But it's very, very long-term plan for that, but it's happening slowly. And continuous change in the environment. I follow many information security researchers, and quite often I found that secure solution systems yesterday are not secure systems anymore today, or at least there are some vulnerabilities that we have to make sure they are mitigated properly. So that is a kind of a continuous competition that we have to develop information security every day to make sure that we make sure that the aviation is safe and secure. And the attack surface, it's very easy to add more digitalization and more connectivities to the ecosystem, but how to make sure that the information security has been taken care of at proper level. Then that is always a balancing between information security and let's say the digitalization. I see that way. So how to find the right balance to your organization. And I have to say that the Finnish organization in aviation, the biggest ones, are doing very good work and very good job in that. So I'm very, very happy to see that. And I have an experience and also that internationally the big players, the critical players in the ecosystem of aviation are doing very good work. But but there is always we can be better. So about the practices, there is definitely no need to invent the wheel again, because, for example, information security has been there many decades already, but we just have to make sure that those tools are used and developed further to the whole aviation system. I take an example that aircraft, when it's designed, it's already actually from the design phase evaluated. There is a very careful and consistent method for the risk assessment what comes to information security. It's very, very standardized way. What, for example, what we are doing in Europe and the USA. So it's actually there is an enormous work that has been done already, but it's actually for the whole for the other players in the aviation, like air navigation service providers, airports, satellite service providers. There is not kind of an agreed, consistent methodology to do the risk assessment, which means that for organization A, which is dependent from the organization B, they both affect each other. They both, let's say, affect each other risks because they are using same systems, same solutions. They are dependent on each other. But how they handle risks, they are not yet doing that comprehensive risk management collaboration with each other. That means that they don't actually necessarily know that what kind of risks, for example, certain ANSP is delivering to one airline during the flight. But as we have seen in aviation, we have very, very, very strong safety and security culture. And it's not only technology, it's people, it's processes. And when something fails, there is always contingency measures in place. That's normal operational life, actually, because there is always some kind of software problems, system problems during the flights. But there is always, the aircraft is designed and the operations are designed so that then we can move to next procedure. So actually it's not only about the technology. It's definitely very important, but it's not, I would like to highlight that point. And for that reason, I definitely feel that we are on the right path so that there is a very good contingency procedures in place in aviation, in airlines, in ANSPs, and the safety is always the top priority. What about the solutions then? We are currently approaching that point when there are, at European level, first regulations also in the aviation cybersecurity. As I said, these are risks that should be taken care of already by the organization, but they also wish, and we see that there must be more comprehensive collaboration in place through the whole aviation system. And we have management systems for the safety, very strong ones in place. I think you also work part of the aviation system, quite many, so that actually you are part of the system and providing very good safety work to the aviation, as well as security. But what is actually now, we are developing information security to be part of this management system thinking. And that actually means a couple of slides ago about the information security CIA. So actually I encourage you to think in your organization or in your daily life that what does that mean to you and kind of a personal information security management. I like to do that exercise by myself because I feel that they are exactly the same things that we should make sure we are doing when we are working so that there is kind of a cyber hygiene that we can make sure. So the organizations, all the players in aviation in the future need to have information security management system so that, and that means from the perspective of life safety and the European, in Europe that means also that European Aviation Traffic Management Network. So we will make sure that there are no disruptions in the aviation system because of, or there will be, but never safety is compromised. That should be the goal. And as I said, I'm personally actually this is my kind of a rabbit hole, this risk management, and it's quite deep one because now every organization are more or less doing the risk management from their own perspective. And that's pretty inefficient because if you think about the whole aviation system, you are actually dependent quite many players. When you fly the aircraft through many countries, you use services from different ANSPs and from different airports, and you use satellite communication system, you use certain aircraft type, you use different software systems, all kinds of services. But what if you better understand what is actually the risk, what those organizations means to you or create to you? So that's our goal at the moment, because we are in the aviation community, we clearly see that this is exactly what is not happening at the moment. And there is no method available to understand this. And for that reason, we are in Europe and also in ICAO at global level focusing on this area, because we feel that the industry is doing a very good work, but this is something they would definitely need more kind of tools. So with that, I would like to thank you, and I would like to also get some tricky questions, and I hope that I was able to give you a kind of at least scratch the surface, but we can go more in depth to the information security if you want. But I thought that these could be kind of key points that you would be interested in.
All right, thank you, Tomi. And a very important topic in the aviation and all the other industries at the moment. So we have some time for questions. Who would like to have a question? Over there.
Is it working? It's working now. Hi, my name is Jovan. I'm an aviation business student. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's a quite interesting topic and not the thing that people are thinking about on a daily basis. I would like to ask you, are you able to tell us how many cyber disruptions, or can we say even attacks, there is in Finland on a yearly basis? Thank you.
Thank you for the very good question. I think it's not only in aviation, it's in every industry, every day. So it's kind of a normal life that someone is trying to do something or for many reasons, but that's just they are trying to do something. Of course, in the aviation we have incidents also, well, in Finland I have some examples at European level and also at global level. And at global level, for example, airports, they have been targeted. For example, the airport display systems, they have been attacked. And there are many examples, but as far as I know, none of them have endangered the flight safety.
Any other questions? Right, so thank you, Tomi, again.
Thank you.
So, and now we will have our